Hey, it's a Glassy Obsidian, and I wanted to share a story about something that I hadn't posted in a while. So I remember this uh, something that happened way back in the early 2000s, and as I was looking through YouTube, I found that there was YouTube videos about Giants in Kandahar, Afghanistan, and I was like, "What is this?" So I clicked on it, and there were some stories about um, the helicopter pilots and people in Afghanistan during the Afghanistan Operation Enduring Freedom in the early 2000s, and it brought back some crazy memories when I was a high school student, about 17 when I was 17 years old. And now that I think about it, it's been years since then. It's 2025. That was like 24 years ago. 2001. Well, it's 2003 that the story that happened was in 2003, 2004. So it's been over 20 years. Um, but at that time, I was a 17-year-old in Orange, California, a high school student, and I remember watching in class, in history class, watching live September 11, 2021. That day after lunch, there was like on the news the two planes that ran into the twin trade trade center buildings, and I remember after that like day of class, the there were like two army recruiters that were like coming to the school every day, and one day they came to talk to me, and I remember one guy's name was like Perez or something, and I don't remember the other guy's last name, and they were both like Latino recruiters, and they kept buying me Subway sandwiches, and I was really happy. And then every day they kept buying me sandwiches and trying to get me to sign the paper to go to the army or something, and I didn't do it. And then one day they were getting serious with me. They said, "Okay, we want to know, do you want to join the army or U.S. Army, or what were you thinking?" And then they made me do a test, and I had to do like a test to see if I would be able to what job I would have. And then they said, "Oh, well, you're not. You got an okay score, but you didn't get a high enough score." And they said, "Well, you can't do anything like special, but you could be holding the camera." And this was 2003, so they didn't have like GoPro or anything like that. So they had these big cameras that people would carry around, and they said your job would be to hold the camera, and you would be around. And they said, we're not going to lie to you. You are going to go to the front line where everybody was. And they said, you have a 50% chance to live. And when they said that, I was like really kind of scared at that point. I said, I don't really know if I want to go. And I said, what am I going to do holding a camera? Like, I might as well hold the flag. Why am I going to hold the camera? They can kill me. They can't even defend myself. And they said, no, don't be afraid. There's going to be there people with you, but you have to document everything. So I thought about it, and then they were saying, "Oh, you look a little bit scared." So then they were teasing me, and then after a couple of weeks, they would meet with me once in a while, and then finally they said, "Okay, so you look okay. You're doing, you're not unhealthy. I was playing football, like American football at that time, so I was healthier." And then I said, "Well, I don't really know. I don't really know." But they then one guy was, I think it was Perez. He was like laughing at me. He said, "Oh yeah, and if you go, watch out for the Giants in Afghanistan. Watch out for the Giants." And he was laughing like, and the other guy was laughing with him. They were laughing at me, and I didn't know what they're talking about, and I thought it was like I didn't really even get the joke. And then I said, "What Giants?" And they said, "Oh so do you believe in God or something like that?" And I said, yeah. And they said, well, they said there's giants in Afghanistan. And then I just said, I don't know about all that. And he said, yeah, there's giants. And I didn't believe him. But then I just said, I don't really know about holding the camera. Um, But now that I think about way back, so I did. It ended up the group home didn't even let me go to the army anyway. They said that I couldn't hold the gun. They didn't want me to hold the gun in the. They said it was too dangerous for me to hold the gun, so they said they told the army not to take me in. But when I met my other friend Kyle and another guy Will, they told me that their lives got better after that. But I'll never forget when I saw that YouTube video, because this was in 2004 that they were joking about the Giants in Afghanistan. But when I saw the YouTube video, they said it was from 2008. So if I was the if the recruiters were in Afghanistan, the U.S. Army recruiters, not the Navy SEALs, not the U.S. Marines, the U.S. Army recruiters in California in the year 2004 knew about the Giants in Afghanistan, or it was a joke back then, how is it that in 2008 was the first time that it was reported, and then now it's coming out on YouTube, but it's been over 20 years? So to me, that's a little bit strange. Why would maybe there's some truth there about what was it? Nobody really knows what if it was like what really happened, but they told me when they were laughing at me, it was a joke, and they said, "Well," I said, "Well, tell me more about what happened." And they said, "Well, people reported." They said that they were about 25 maybe at that time. I was 17 and they were 25 years old, the two recruiters, and they said that the people that went in 4 years ago, like in 2001, 2002, they said the first batch of army guys that went in there, they heard from someone there that there were giants there, and that they had something happen and someone got killed or something like that. And I still didn't believe them, but it doesn't make any sense now when I look at the YouTube videos. How is it that there were YouTube videos saying that there were giants, and that they're saying the helicopter pilot reported it in 2008, but then I heard about it personally in person when the two recruiters told me about it in 2004. So it doesn't, to me, there's something, I think there was some secret information there that the US government was giving out, that they didn't want to tell everyone. Well, and they said, no, no, no. And they also were joking. They said, we don't want to make you afraid. We don't want to scare you out, but we wanted to tell you, hey, you have a 50% chance to live. And don't tell, he said, don't be afraid of all those things. Like, forget about it. Forget about the whole giant story. But I'll never forget now that what they said, because now it seems real. Now that everything was going on in the news last year with Joe Biden, and they took out people from Afghanistan, they took out all the army, and I'll never forget now what could have happened. Like, was it real? Were they sending people? People were dying. Like, a lot of people were dying in that area. There could have been maybe giants there, or there could have been something there. So I just thought it was a uh, really interesting story that I saw on YouTube, because they had told me earlier that it was dangerous, and it wasn't just that there was a lot of shooting going on, but that they were saying that there was hot and everything in the mountains of Afghanistan. And I said, "Oh, I love the mountains." And they said, "Do you like?" And then I said, "I love the food." I told them I love the rice and goat and all the Arabic food. And they said, "Oh, you're not going to be worrying about food. You're going to be worrying about staying alive." And so it was a really interesting conversation, but it's hard to explain everything. But I remember it so clearly in the year 2004, like 2003, 2004, that there must have been something happening, something going on at that time. Anyway, that was just a really interesting story that I thought I'd share.